We call the Committee on Committees meeting to order. Actually, give me that sheet back a second.
Go on, Joe.
All right. So for corrections, Mr. Short is here today because I pulled the Committee on Committee rules at his suggestion. And I don't vote today, folks, unless there's a tie. With 9 of you, I think that's mathematically impossible. And as a result, Mr. Short represents 4. At any rate, that's the first start of it, and I have them in here if anybody wants to check. I actually pulled the rules with it. So that's the start. Second thing I handed out to you today.
Want to call the meeting to order and take roll?
Sure, I guess we ought to do that. All right. I did call the meeting to order, but I just started talking. So roll call. Pam Altoff.
Here.
Carolyn Campbell.
Here.
I'm here. Terry Greeno.
Here.
Jim Kearns.
Here.
Matt Kunkel.
Here.
Brian Sager.
Here.
Although they spelled your name wrong, Brian, you're now Brain Sager on this list.
Well, he does have a brain.
That's appropriate. Yeah, that is. That's good.
Larry Smith.
He's the one I wrote.
Gloria Van Hoff.
Here.
And all the other board members that are here, if you want to speak on this, absolutely raise your hand. You are welcome to weigh in. So with that, we have a full committee here.
I wanted to go ahead first.
Pass that down around. I gave you a sheet, and what's on the board is reflected on that sheet. I want to talk a little bit about what's here, and then we can, and I know that the chairman wants to speak. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
What?
All right. I started this is really a self-selection more than most. If you go down the list of these committees, you will find that virtually everybody got what they asked for. There is one mistake on this list that I noticed today. Scholars should be on transportation, and it's going to mean that one person on transportation can drop down to 2 committees if they want to do that, because I missed it. I don't know how I missed it. I'm sure last night when I counted it out, I had it there. But if you notice on your list, Scholars only in one place. And I would find it unlikely that we would give him only one committee to be on. So that needs to change. The other difference between what I gave you on Monday, Monday had just simply the names in the places that people asked for. What has changed? In admin services, we were 1 short, and I'm happy that she decided that I could twist her arm hard enough to do it. We did not have anybody from 7, 8, or 9 districts, and Tracy Von Bergen has said she would sit in that spot. So that would take care of admin services. That still left us with too many people on transportation. And instead of having 1 person extra on transportation, it turns out we have 2 because of my scholar. So that's what's not shown on your list. We had 1 extra person on law and government. We had 2 people short on Valley High. And so in terms of things that have not changed, law and government, planning, environment, and development, public health and human services, no changes at all. And everybody on those committees are the people that asked for the committees, and there were no disappointed people on those committees.
Excuse me, Joe, do you have extra list? I don't have it.
Oh, there you go. Right there. I thought I put 1 on every seat, but somebody probably swiped.
I did swipe it. I admit I swiped it.
Is anybody else missing one?
Can I have a favor too, Joe?
Sure.
Can you just go through the committees real quick and designate who was on those committees originally?
Well,
I just so,
if
I
you wanna do
apologize.
that beforehand?
I,
Okay, so on administrative,
Okay, wait.
that's the list I would have handed out on Monday, but
Here it is.
it's here. The top was existing. So for instance, in admin services, the existing was Kunkel, Collins. And by the way, the way I did existing was like Teresa Meshes is no longer here, but the person that beat Teresa Meshes was Collins, or, you know, is in that seat. Not Collins,
That's all.
Sullivan, yeah, okay, so I goofed. I put Collins, that should be Sullivan.
Where was that at?
That would be under
Administrative
existing,
services.
that would be existing administrative services. Okay, but that was, the intent was, when I was doing existing, was to substitute that person in. So existing, it would be Kunkel, Sullivan, Van Hoff, Hendricks, myself, Reno, and Altoff. What's proposed, basically the change is Gloria asked to be off, so that's why she's not there. And in place, Von Bergen's there. And otherwise, it doesn't change much. But again, what I looked at, my first priority was to say, what did people want to be on? And try to put people where they asked to be.
And I apologize, I know I'm wrecking your thing. So I understand it was your
Nothing
error,
unusual.
but did Pat want to be on administrative services? Was that one of his choices?
If they're on this second list,
I don't have that, I apologize.
you have it, it's right in front of you.
No, I mean, the first one I don't, so I don't know.
But this list that I
Oh,
gave
never
you
mind,
today.
I'm being shared. I got
Okay,
that.
it was the same. I don't,
I think he's not on here as having requested it.
he's not, he did not request it.
Okay, so, but Collins did,
Collins did.
that's what I'm
Collins did.
asking. I got it, thank you. Got
And
it.
so that made sense to me to do
Yeah,
something
that's fine.
that somebody asked rather than,
I just wanted to know if Pat wanted it, that's all.
okay.
Right.
Hey, Joe, I
Yes.
just wanted to mention, you've got minutes approved in public. Don't you forget.
Okay, we won't forget, but we haven't gotten that far. Go ahead.
I have some rudimentary questions because I'm a noob to this. Are chairs picked by the chairman at large or picked by us or voted by us?
It's a combination. The chair has traditionally, the chairman of the board has traditionally picked chairs, and he's traditionally picked vice chairs.
So that's not in our purview here.
It's not usually in our purview.
Okay.
I'm sure he's sitting behind you. He will have that opportunity to speak about how he feels about that in a second.
Okay, and then the next question, because these are kind of important to me, is we all want and pick what we want. and I'm thrilled that that happens. But is our highest level actually putting people who have merit and or skills in those areas to those areas, or does that not fall in our purview?
Well, the form of the people on the committee is not our purview. That is certainly something to be considered. You know, if you see somebody that doesn't belong someplace or that does belong someplace, that's certainly something we can talk about moving. I'm just telling you how we got to here.
Okay, and that's why I'm trying to find out is, in our crescendi here, should my thinking be, oh, I have better skills in law enforcement, therefore I should be with law and government, or should our thinking not be along that lines?
That's a reason to change somewhere.
So
But go ahead.
I'll tell you my strange, because I thought that way too. But I also think that if you have great skill set in law and government, maybe I want you to learn something else about county government. And I know that your skill set in law and government will show itself on the board. So I just don't want people to get stuck in, I
Right,
mean.
but
so
more my
sometimes I do that.
recommendation is
Yeah.
this, like for me, I've run my own company for 40 years. But my skill set is actually pushing men and machinery to a fiscally sound finish of a product. And I hire young nubile minds for the actual bookwork and budgeting. I operate to a budget, but I don't want to make the budget. So therefore, I'm a better fit on some of these other things than I would be on the financial budget.
Well, and I look at that and say, when you said, I want to be on these items,
Right.
my thinking was that you probably thought about that.
Right, but I'm seeing on here, the way the shift went, sometimes that isn't necessarily so. That's why I'm asking.
Again, I started this with trying to make certain that
Everybody
everybody
got their choice.
got their choice first.
Good.
That doesn't mean this committee has to give everyone their choice. Your choice is a choice, and, you know, mathematically, I was kind of stunned that it came this close,
Okay.
all right?
And then the last question, and I'll get off the stage,
Sure.
is we don't necessarily, it's okay to, but we don't want to have two people from the same district in a committee.
You try to avoid it, it's not going to be possible. It's the same, there's just mathematically, it doesn't work out evenly.
Okay.
The sad part was when we didn't have Valley High and we had just 6 committees for a brief moment,
It could be done.
mathematically it worked.
Okay, just checking so I know what the parameters are, thank you.
But that's
Right,
that's
and if I could just speak up for a moment.
Sure, go right
As
ahead.
as far as the chairs go, I mean, I think we're really looking for continuity through the transition, and that those that had the experience and things that I think things have been working very well for the last 4 years or so, and to keep those chairs in place, I think really makes a lot of sense. The vice chairs, obviously, I mean, a couple of things that I'd look at, or my request would be, I mean, continuity again through transition. Some of these vice chairs have not changed. Board experience, including prior board experience and the ability to run a meeting. And attendance a lot of times makes a lot of difference. If you've got somebody that's vice chair, I mean, really the role of the vice chair is to fill in when the chair is not there, even though it may be infrequent, but you want to make sure that that person is going to be there.
Do you have any?
And I'm surprised how well these worked out. I mean, you have 3 people that have 2 of their 3 requests, and everybody else gets everything that they want. And for that to actually work out is pretty incredible.
So at any rate, anything else that you want to add before I move on? So transportation has thrown me off a bit this morning because I forgot about Scotland. And I'm not sure how that happened.
They go away for a few days and
Joe, I
you
will
just
get down
forget
to
them.
transportation, let's call it in.
Okay. That may be the answer.
You would what?
He'd like to get off of transportation.
You like
and Scotland.
I love it, and it's actually in my wheelhouse.
Well, I had a solution.
Oh, well,
I
fire
would take
away.
Krieger and put her
I
to
just fell on
Valley.
the sword and you didn't hurry.
I would take Krieger, move her to Valley High, and I would take Hendrickson off of that committee and put him on 2 committees.
Say that again?
So he's moving Krieger to Valley High is what he's proposing.
That's just my,
And then Eric wouldn't have Valley High. And Eric would have 2 committees instead of 3.
So, can I point out, if we're on transportation, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm on transportation because I know that's one that I don't.
So do you,
No, 'cause the
don't
only thing
you
I
have
wanted-
Hendricks pencil in for vice chair for Valley High?
No, he's
No, it's
penciled in for
Kaminsky.
vice chair of
That's
Ed
Kaminsky.
Services.
So just sticking on transportation for just 1 second.
So you guys, you
So that
have
we're
vice chair
consistent
for
with-
me.
It's okay. Sorry for the shift, but I didn't make my vertical, or I made my list vertical, and the board's got it horizontal. So you gotta, if you're looking at the board, you
It's kind
gotta
of
turn it.
hard. With the purple, it's kind of hard for me to read it.
I just
Well,
wanted-
it's this, it's just this.
Right, but can I just add one thing?
Sure.
Because you're saying that when people requested something, for most, you have down here, like, and I'm only saying this because we are on transportation, and I know that Collins had requested transportation. He's not on your list of possibilities. I know we have too many, but he's not on that.
The reality is I had 2 people higher on Valley High than 1, because I didn't have Scala on the list. That's what happened in transportation. So we actually had 9 people ask for transportation.
No, I understand that, but I mean, even just having the name up there as a possibility, because he did request it. You're saying he got 3 of 3. Oh, no, you're saying
No, I
he got 2
got
of 3.
2 of 3.
Oh, I gotta put my glasses on.
I can't-
I saw 3, sorry. Oh, yeah.
So is now,
Tracy has her hand up.
Well,
Yeah, she's.
go ahead.
I could offer a pretty good solution
Sure.
for transportation, seeing that I'm on transportation. Possibly put Krieger in my spot on admin, and that would get you to the number you need on transportation.
and did Deanie
And
ask
then would
you
you
for
come
Ed
on-
services?
Yeah.
Oh, did she? Yeah, good, okay, cool.
She applied for that.
Okay.
So do we have anyone from 2 on?
So
We're gonna put 2 on administrative services.
Remember, Von Berg gets back down to 2, that's what this.
Oh.
That was really sad.
Now I'm leaving.
And when I did it, it wasn't right?
In my defense, I
Okay.
am chairing PHCS, which also
Does it
requires
lots.
a chair of several other subcommittees.
But also in your defense, you got a lot of bridges in trouble too. Do you want to have a say in
I
that?
would like to stay on transportation, yes.
Was there someone else wanting to be on Valley High?
Valley, I had 2 people short.
Okay, because I can go back to
right now I have
administrative
Hendricks and Collin
services.
there,
No,
but
you should stay on Valley High.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you bring
You know,
different set of
being
eyes.
that I'm a licensed nursing home administrator.
well, that might have a little.
Well, I'll just note that again, if we stick with the parameters that we are trying to meet, is to give people committees that they feel their skill set fits. Dina asked for admin services, so to leave Tracy on transportation and move her to a committee she wants, I think meets the kind of goals. And there was a vacancy on that committee, so that makes sense.
I'm okay with that.
Well, now we lost to Valley High.
Larry, question. Okay, so
Go
ahead, Larry.
we were saying that Krieger wants to be on admin services, but I'm looking at your list here and that's not what I'm seeing.
No, I understand that, because we took her off before. If you go to the,
This is your stuff from the other
Well, yeah, it
day.
is. She's not out here at all.
She's not.
no, but she was on, she requested for it.
Well, she
But not
was
admin
told to
services.
request for
I
it,
understand,
But-
and
Okay.
I'm not.
but she did not, she withdrew from transportation. And,
She doesn't want to be
Oh,
there
she
anyway.
didn't.
Oh, so she didn't want to be there anyway then?
No.
Well, the
So
conversation
that
I was
works
hearing
then.
was that she did request admin services and I'm not seeing
That's,
that.
right, I don't see that on the list either.
She did not.
She did
She
not,
thought
okay,
she
you're
had to
right.
request 4.
Well, if that's
She
the
did.
case, it's the perfect solution, then she asked to not be transportation, and
Well,
she
wait a
said she would
minute.
request.
Well, she withdrew from,
I
she
mean,
was
you
on
guys-
transportation,
you
I
guys
have
have
her
her
list,
email.
and I'm sorry. Law and government, public health, planning and development, transportation, what she asked for. She did send an email out yesterday asking to be removed from transportation. Okay,
Only because she had 4 and she didn't want 4.
and so, but
she wasn't long government.
So why are we overworking her?
So
Why
she
don't we just
wanted
take her
long
off
government.
No, she's not.
Because
Yeah,
originally
right.
she wanted transportation,
She
not
wanted
admin
PED.
services.
She wanted PED.
She wanted transportation. She only wanted off transportation when she found out she didn't have to carry 4.
Okay.
and.
So that solves that though, that take her off of transportation, Scala's there, and you still have an opening if Tracy doesn't want to be on it. You might.
No, you don't.
Well, no, but,
No, you don't.
but, no, we don't, but understand, we had,
That fixes it.
She doesn't want to be on admin services, really.
Right, you put Krieger
Right,
over
she
there.
did not request that. I don't see her on.
Krieger was
But
part of this.
Krieger is already.
Krieger's right now
She
on
was-
planning and development, public health, and transportation.
Whenever
Yeah,
she
she's-
found
And
out
take her
that
off of transportation.
She's got.
Take her off for transportation,
If you do
then,
nothing but just
Now
take
she's
her off,
only got
that's
2.
fine, and then
Put
she
her on
has 3.
admin service.
Then she has
Right.
3, right,
no,
he's
she
right.
doesn't have 3, she has 2, because we didn't, she was the one that was only getting 3 of the 4 she asked for. Anyway, so if you take her off, she's down to 2.
Well, then put her, nobody's gonna
High and
get
take
4
off Eric.
anyway, so it's really.
Right, no, I
So we
understand,
Put her
but
on they put her on admin
And
services.
right, Eric didn't want Valley High, you can put Dina on Valley
Because that's
High
what her
and take
request-
Eric
Yeah,
off,
and
because
that's
he
more
really
in her
did not
wheelhouse.
want,
His request was Valley High.
he really did not want to be on that committee.
She did
Well, I
not.
understand.
Easier to
As her
ignore.
fourth choice.
She did not.
She sent an email yesterday withdrawing.
I mean, that was his last comment to me.
Can I ask a point of clarification?
sure, go ahead.
What was your other?
So right now, Dina is coming off of transportation, is that correct? Is
Well,
that-
we have 2 volunteers. We have a volunteer, Mr. Tunkel would like to come off transportation. Dina asked to come off transportation yesterday,
Okay,
but
let's deal with that and we'll argue about Matt later. let's just deal with Dina right now.
All right.
So Dina's asked to come off of transportation, so we remove her from that, right?
We put Scala in,
And we put Scala in, so now you've got transportation set, correct?
that would be fine.
And we have Tracy that really, because she's a chair, and it's a big chair.
I'd like to not be on it.
She would rather come off of admin.
Mhm.
So we've got Krieger now in PED, we've got Krieger in PHS, Public Health and Services, which is the kind of nursing context, if you will, education. And then we can put Krieger for her third one over to Administrative Services, correct?
Okay, I've got to
She
speak
didn't
up
ask
here.
for that.
She did not ask for that. She asked for, first of all, she was told to pick 4. Her 4th pick was law and government. So she notified that she wanted to be withdrawn from that. I spoke with her this morning. She wants PED, Public Health and Transportation. She is willing to move from transportation to Valley High if it helps.
Somebody just check in.
Which would help.
Okay, so she wants to move from transportation to Valley High?
She said she would do it if it helps.
So, and Pat Sullivan's been CFO of his company for 40 years. He would work better on finance or even admin services than he would at Valley High. So could Krieger go to Valley High and Sullivan go to one of those other two, finance or,
Well, and for example, right
Admin.
now in finance, we've got 5 of the 7 members that are up for reelection in 2 years, which could be a threat to the continuity, skill set, and intellectual property of the committee. And so it would be nice to have another fresh face on there.
Well, the reason.
And
Mr.
bringing
Sullivan's on Valley
experience.
High is because he asked.
Joe, for
That's all I got.
clarification, can you just tell us where we are right now with the changes we've made for each of the committees? Just start at the left and go all the way over, because I don't see anybody changing anything on that board.
Well, we haven't changed anything on the board yet.
I don't think
We
anything's been
haven't- right now,
changed.
we
Penciling it on our
don't. Right now,
papers.
what's on your piece of
So
paper
it's
in
hard
front
for
of
me
you
to
is
keep
what's on that
up with
board.
what you're saying.
Well, I don't know if we're saying anything at this point.
But we
made
moved some
suggestions.
people around.
No, it's suggestions.
Oh, okay.
So,
So we
but
have-
what we did do is Dina offered to come off of transportation if it helps, and she would move to Valley High.
Well, Brian's
Tracy,
got some
Tracy would
people
prefer
left
not
also.
to be on administrative services.
That was her.
Are you listening?
Mhm.
Tracy would prefer not to be on ad services and stay on 2 committees because public health does require huge amounts of commitment. So that would leave that vacant.
So I need a spot there.
And
And Hendricks is already in that
and
spot.
Sullivan, like I said, would make a good fit in admin services for Von Bergen.
Well,
He-
No, we put Krieger there for.
we can't
No, we
ignore
haven't.
what's going
Oh, we
on
didn't?
in finance, in that we've got 5 2-year members and then 2 brand new people. We need to get more voices on there that are gonna have some continuity throughout the next transition. You know, to have 5 people potentially leaving, or, changing.
So could Sullivan go to finance for Smith, and Mr. Smith, would you mind going to admin services? Don't want to do that.
No.
So who else is on a 2-year on that you're
But
speaking
we
of?
do this
I don't see
every
the-
2
I don't-
years anyway, and the people
Right.
on the team
Right.
have been on for 2 years now, so why would we create a new process when we do this every 2 years? There are people who've been on that for 2 years.
Could-
Where's the
I-
continuity
I
that
know
way?
we're shooting all over the place right now. I'd still like to solve transportation, and then we'll solve finance.
Well, I think we solved transportation
Yeah,
by
I
just shifting
understand.
Krieger out and Scala in.
Okay.
But then
So
Krieger
then Krieger
wanted
needs to go someplace.
Yeah.
Valley
High.
High. So if
And
she
then-
got that in place of anybody who doesn't want Valley High,
Hendricks, why would?
Okay.
he's already on admin, so he'd have to go to finance. And then
Well,
somebody has
he's-
to go off of finance.
Got a
Might have to
degree
go
in
someplace
finance and he's worked
Yeah, I
as an
think he'd be a
accountant.
great fit for that.
He's also not up for election. Also too, did anybody else request vice chair of finance besides me?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Well, for what it's worth, I don't feel that the election part of it is worth, and it's not a valid argument to me, I guess, to worry about that.
I agree, I don't think that's relevant at all. I think we should be looking at some you know, some continuity and the fit for your skills, if you're matched
I
for
like
that.
It's hard,
I agree with that. I
it's
mean, so we-
difficult to think that all 5 people that are on finance that come up for election next year aren't gonna be there.
Right, exactly.
I mean, then how many people on the finance committee have actually worked as accountants?
I took a year of accounting, but I don't want to be on finance.
Well, I've done
I've done
finance
governmental
director
financing forever, and I don't want to be on finance.
Brian, you want to stay on finances versus admin services? So you wouldn't want to shift? Yeah.
Joe, so can we dial back? So we
I
have.
just know
everyone's
Dean
requests.
is a much better.
I'm sorry,
fit than Valley
one
High.
at a time.
I would leave
Yeah.
it there, yeah.
That's what I
Okay,
think
hold
too.
it. Mr. Short, go ahead.
So just, can we dial back? We have a list of requests that everyone put in, right?
Yes.
We have that lined up, and I've got too many marks on my paper at this point. So we're, for the most part, have everything set to what everyone requested. And if there's corrections we need to address, let's maybe look at the corrections and fill those slots.
That would be fine with me. That's what and the correction I started with was, because I knew it was not on your sheet, was Scala is only on one committee. He asked to be on transportation. He's been on transportation for some time. So I need to take somebody off transportation. And the volunteer, it looks like is between Matt and Dina. And
I would rather keep Matt on transportation.
Yeah, and
Taking a
Dina's,
share.
yes, Dina's fine with Valley High.
okay, so Dina's off, Scala's in, and that sets transportation. Okay? Now, Dina's now down to 2 committees.
Well, she'd like Valley High.
Okay, we put Dina on
And then we
Valley
can take
High,
our
and somebody comes off of Valley High.
Sullivan with this experience and goes on to finance.
Well, not everybody's gonna get their, just to
Well,
get their full
that means I gotta
number.
take 2 people off finance if I add another one on.
2.
Well, right now, in terms of requests, Mr. Hendricks also requests finance. If I add Sullivan onto it, now I've got 2 people that gotta come off finance. If I put, I mean,
So if Krieger goes for Hendricks on Valley High, Hendricks goes to finance, then there's only one has to move over to admin services, so Von Bergen can get off admin services, correct?
It'd be so much fun. Did you bring the slider?
I couldn't follow
I'm
that.
telling you, I had four that I would go on, so I, you know, administrative services was the 4th one, so I could easily slide over there if I need to, instead of Valley.
I think that's an offer that is worthy of consideration.
I could
Except
slide
I don't
over
think we
if
want you off.
If it helps, you know.
There's, again, I think the problem is that when people requested things, Valley High was a committee that many people did not want to serve on, and you like Valley High.
I
So
do.
to give that up doesn't serve the whole,
help.
it doesn't
And-
You speak the
serve the need.
language, you know.
And Krieger will also.
I do like Valley High, but also administrative services
You
with
know
my background in HR, so I'm just saying I'm flexible.
But Valley High, not many people understand the compliance and the things that have to happen in reporting on that, and it is.
But thank you for the offer.
Yeah, okay. Just-
I would
As long
say
as I
put
have,
Krieger in
you
in
know.
place of Hendricks. We've swapped a problem. We now have Krieger on 3 committees and Hendricks on 2. But then let's work to the next level. So what I see is, on transportation, I have Kearns, Sager, Kunkel, Kaminsky, Thomas, Von Bergen, and Scott. Is that
Yes.
okay with the transportation committee? Does that work?
Say that one more time, Joe.
Kearns, Sager, Kunkel,
Mhm,
Kaminsky,
mhm.
Thomas, Von Bergen, Scala.
Okay, got it.
Okay, and for whatever it's worth, that's what's on the board to the left rear here for me.
Could we possibly check off a couple of other easy ones like
Sure.
VHS and
Let's look at,
PPD?
So I got a question, I'm
sure,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was a little bit confused as to the chair and vice chair, if it's the board chairman that makes that pick, absolutely, or are we voting on it and then he has to okay it or not okay it?
Well, technically, we have always, the board has always worked to make certain that both those groups meet and agree. You know.
Okay, let me ask Chairman Bueller there then. I'm penciled in as chair of PED.
Correct.
And if that's your wish, it is?
Yes.
Then I feel like I can talk about PED and say, okay, I'm gonna be chair of PED. I like the way the committee is set up right now. It's the two new people are people that requested PED. And I would say that that can sit as it's printed out right here and be done with it.
Okay. So let's do that next then.
Okay.
So transportation, we've just said. PED, you're suggesting stays as
As written right
current
here.
chairman and proposed future chairman. You're recommending it stays as that.
Right. Dina, the two new people, Dina Krieger requested PED, and so did Paul Thomas. And with his background, I think that's a good pick too.
Okay.
So then,
And by the way, this is exactly who asked, and there were no other extra requests for this committee.
So that one's okay.
and I'll say the same for law and government then,
I thought so.
that these are the same people that asked for law and government. The only change is Pat, who did request it. I also will note that Eric did not ask for law and government, but he has indicated subsequently that he would be available for that too, if need be. Did I say that right?
Well, then if it matters, and I don't know that it does, Eric could go to law and government and Sullivan could move to finance or wherever, and then you don't have two District 1s on law and government. But as we said, it's gonna overlap somewhere anyway.
So Pam, are you okay with law and government the way it is?
Mm-hmm.
So let's
So
just
can we okay
check
that
that
one
off.
is?
Okay.
Is that one an okay?
Yeah,
I'm just marking my sheet.
yeah, I know, I'm fine.
All right.
Somebody messes
The other
Is
one that
that the
I,
only committee with two from the same district?
no,
believe so.
there's another
There's
one.
Okay, so it doesn't really.
It's the only one I know, the two districts.
You want to, Tracy, you want to talk about public health? You've got the list in front of you too. I think I gave
Just
one.
a quick question, I just wanted to clarify. So it doesn't really matter that there's two from one district on the
Well,
committees?
Sometimes it's on a board.
It's going to happen.
Right,
We
so
try
it
to
Doesn't
avoid it,
matter, yeah, so it's,
but it's not,
Okay, but it doesn't matter, all right.
it's a rule we try to follow, but it's not one it's broken now.
It's
Or
a
been-
suggestion.
It's a
not-
It got a lot
suggestion, not
harder
a-
with 18.
Huh?
It's a lot harder with 18 than.
And we noted that when we did the board rules.
where are you at with PHS?
We need to change that.
Did everybody,
I mean, it's hard.
So everybody on your
Yeah,
list
seven
requested.
members. We used to have 18
I'm good with,
Put in your notes.
So that's an okay for PHS?
Have you guys, while you're at it, so
So
Tracy's
we're-
okay as a chairman with Von Bergen on PHS.
Okay.
They are, again, like PED, they're the people that asked for it. Anybody on the board, on the committee on committees, got to change or propose difference in those? You okay with it?
Like that.
Let's talk about finance then. I think that's-
Well, I think Valley High is done too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
let's
Well,
talk, let's leave finance for a little later, Joe, if
okay,
you will,
all right,
and
so
let's do
go
Valley
with Valley
High.
High, you got, Mike, you're gonna be the chair.
Yeah, well, everyone's trying to run from that committee, so I'm happy that we have 7.
No, I just make myself available if needed, but I do like Valley High.
You only have 8 in there right now?
No, we have 7.
Well, we have 8 if we put Dina over, but then take Hendricks off, that gets you some.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing?
Yeah.
Is that,
I thought we were gonna
Isn't that what
take,
Eric
well, wait,
requested?
I thought we were taking Sullivan on,
No.
so that he could go over to finance.
Sullivan asked for Valley, right?
Eric doesn't want to stay on Valley High.
Well, why should Eric get what he wants?
I don't know Mr. Sullivan. Sounds like he's got great financial background, but for some reason, he did not request it. So if you put somebody into a committee and they don't want to be there, it's not going to work as good as if you have somebody that's requested.
Well, he chose committees based on where he thought the shortfall was. That's why how he
Okay.
chose them. He didn't choose them because he said he would go wherever needed, not a testament to what he does.
So he's
Okay.
easy.
He has, yeah, he's
maybe-
easy.
maybe I
He
want
has
him on
no
transportation.
background in Valley
Okay, no, well, that's good to know.
He has 40 years of CFO in a construction company. He has no background. He also liked Valley High only for the idea that he thought we were building a new memory care wing, and I said, that's all done.
There we
So
go.
again, some of the
Hey,
new
you had
people
one
came,
meeting with it.
some of the new people who came in didn't really know what choosing a committee meant, so
Well-
that's what
Well,
happened.
good to hear.
I think we have to have full disclosure on Valley High and why people want to be on that committee. And it is the fresh baked goods. It is the
Fresh
best,
baked goods.
best bakery chef. And I mean, they really just rock it. It is amazing.
It's the treats that you get, the
I know,
cakes and the
right?
cookies.
I mean, come
So
on.
that means Jim, donuts and transportation.
It's a nice drive in the country.
It is very good, very relaxing.
All right, moving on.
All right, so, so I know we resolved it.
So who do we have on Valley High now?
So in Valley High, we have
Everybody on there,
Shorten,
oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
Kaminsky,
Chair.
Sullivan, Van Hoff, Greeno, Krieger, and Collins.
Okay, very good, and
That-
okay, got it. Wonderful.
I'm with you.
If,
Yeah.
if those numbers turn out in the next 2 years.
Okay.
I just have a question. Did Collins ask for Valley High?
Just like,
No, I'm sure he did not. Collins is one of the places that, Collins and Hendricks neither asked for Valley High.
Okay, the reason I
Because we only
ask
had
is
5
because,
people ask for Valley High. I knew there's no physically possible way that I'd get 5 into 7 without having 2 people disappointed.
I know there was gonna be an overlap too, with both Collins and I are from 2. That's why I asked. I just wondered if he asked for it.
oh, it doesn't matter, right?
It's okay, yeah, I know, it's okay.
Well, just for an example, in the first year that I was on the board, actually the first 2 terms I was on the board, I asked for my 3 committees and I got one of those 3
Mhm.
each time.
Ditto.
Mhm.
Same
And
thing.
just so you guys understand, the new members understand, and any member, that's
And it sure
what
didn't match my
happens.
skill
You don't
set.
always get what you want here.
Right.
I only asked.
Well, I was fortunate
We'd all
last time because you guys really worked and gave me the 3 that I had asked for, so I was really happy about that.
It does make it easier when we get to the full board. If
I cried
everybody's
a little
got
bit.
what they asked for.
I cried a lot the
Remember?
first year.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the very first time I was here, I filled out my slips and I said, I probably have the most qualifications for planning, and they call it planning and development then, but I don't want to write the UDO. I became chairman. We met 50 times in the next 2 years on the UDO.
I remember.
So, at any rate,
Where are we at?
we have admin services and finance. Admin services, we still have Tracy on, and I'm happy with Tracy being there.
Me too.
I can't move Hendricks there because he's vice, he's already there. So there.
I got a suggestion.
Sure.
I haven't thought this through, I'm just throwing it out there. Tracy don't want to be there. Move Mr. Collins off of finance to admin services, and
He's already on admin
He's
services.
already
He's
on there.
already on, yeah, that's what I
Good
just
try.
asked about.
oh, okay.
So, but we have Eric, who is only in 2 committees. He's floating.
So is
So is
others.
Collins, so is Smith, so is Scala, so is Kearns.
I think
We have to have 7 people have 2, huh?
Collins has 3.
Yeah,
Two.
Collins
Yeah,
has,
two.
Has 3.
No.
I thought you
He's
had three.
three, he's on admin services, he's on
Oh, well,
finance,
but he's
and
on a committee
Valley
he
High.
didn't ask
Okay.
for. So sometimes that gets shifted too, right? So like you get three, but you don't necessarily get all of them. So you need 11 people have three,
No, I-
and 7
okay.
people need to have 2.
Yeah, so Collins does have three though.
But yeah,
Administrative Services, Finance, and Valley High.
he's
Yes,
on,
and
he's on Valley
he's
High.
on Valley High that he did not ask for.
So if it turns out, just hypothetically, that he didn't want Valley High, if we pulled him off, he would only have 2, right?
Well, we just approved Valley High.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, I
let's,
think- I
okay.
think-
we'll
Mike,
just-
you
we'll
like
leave it
Valley High,
alone.
right? You like how it is right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're done with that.
You're done.
So really, it's,
So who we got for administrative?
So did we keep
services?
it, when we were doing administrative services, when we took Tracy off, did we put Dina on? Is that what who did we?
No.
Or
No,
so we're
Dina's on
down
3.
one?
We're down,
And
if we
she's on
take
3
Tracy
then.
off, we're down 1 on admin
That
services.
are agreeable.
Well,
That's with
But
Hendricks coming off as well, right?
No, well,
No,
Hendricks, no.
No.
Valley
I'm
Hendricks
talking
came
about
off Valley High.
administrative services.
no,
And I hate
Hendricks is staying there.
No, he stays on.
I hate to put you on the spot, but I know that we had talked, I mean, if we're doing it the same thing, we had talked to Chair Scala, and he liked this committee too. He liked these names. You're that district, but that
You're
was my,
talking about finance, or you're talking about?
I'm talking about finance.
I've not spoken to Mike about that.
I have spoken to him and I have an email.
Okay.
So you think that finance is good to go?
Jim is the representative. I'm just saying that we had gone around and talked to chairman, and I know that when Michael had asked me to send him the list, he was fine with this.
Okay. That's good.
But that, I'm speaking for him, which, take that into consideration, but.
I mean, when you look at experience on finance committee, you've got a CFO and you've got an accountant with a finance degree that could go on there. And then the question just is, who's coming off?
And then they move to admin, so Tracy can come off admin?
I don't know if that works. There's a lot of duplicate from finance and admin. It depends. And who would you suggest taking off? Because Scala wants to stay, obviously, he's the
Did
chair.
Did John and Carolyn both request it?
Yes.
And everybody that's
And
on this
Barry
list requested,
requested it.
Mhm.
So,
plus 2 more.
So what's wrong with it the way it is then? The chair,
it'd be nice to add some freshness.
well, we do. Thomas,
And Collins.
And, again, freshness. Carolyn, how long have you been on finance?
2 years.
Brian has been on for 2 years. I mean, you need some continuity, but we've obviously had some, and there'll be changes with the loss of dollars, et cetera. There's
Yeah.
got to be some continuity with past conversations and historical perspectives.
So
You've got
there's
2
no way
and
that
you've got
Bob's
2
gonna
people.
hunt off of that thing. The only question is there a way to take Tracy off? Doesn't look like there is. So Tracy's gonna get 1 more than she wants, and Eric's gonna get 1 less than he wants and or needs.
Well, no, we put, so,
No.
I'm sorry, just to kind of talk about it. I mean, Collins ended up on a committee he didn't ask for because there was a need for it, right? Krieger, Dina, was requesting, obviously was looking to get 3. She put out 4 suggestions.
No, she
She
was
might-
told 4 and she dropped
Well, that's
one.
fine.
So
I'm just
let's-
saying,
Well, you keep
No,
saying.
but-
I'm just saying that okay. You said that you
She was
understand.
she was asked to give 4, as everybody was, Terry, because if you can't get the 3,
But
you
she
got to back up.
corrected it
She
and-
didn't do anything inappropriate or
No, and I didn't,
not
and I
follow
wasn't trying to
directions.
suggest that, so I'm a little frustrated that that was taken out because I wasn't really quite done. What I was trying to get at was Dina was willing to do 3, obviously. And maybe she might be in open, we've got that open spot, so Tracy can leave in admin services. Maybe Dana would be willing to do that, just like Collins is taking on a committee he didn't ask for. And that would give her 3. I'm just saying.
Krieger has 3.
Collins has 3.
Has 3 at Valley High.
Yeah, Collins
Krieger has
has 3
3.
too, so.
Oh, she has it already?
So-
Already has 3.
So what
Oh, I'm
about,
sorry.
what about, if Pat has been a CFO, what about, is he on admin? If Tracy wants to be off, can Pat go on admin, or does he have
Well,
3
he's
too?
got 3.
That
He
would-
can,
that would-
but he
that
would
would
have to
work.
come off Valley High, then who goes to Valley High?
And he requested Valley.
Okay, I got it.
Again, he doesn't care about Valley High, but also then you're duplicating both Pat and I again for 2 committees now, admin and law and government.
That's all right, I've had duplications all over.
Well, there we go.
I'm on 3.
Tracy.
So Tracy has.
So,
Tracy,
and
what's
sometimes
your
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on 3 with
Tracy, go
Collins,
ahead.
so it's like,
Look,
He's the
we are
nutrition
all
meshes.
here to serve in some capacity. I was in the same situation as many of the other board members that have been here in a long time. I got 1 committee when I first got on this board. Public health was not one of them, and it was actually probably the last one I wanted to be on at the time. But since I am now there and have become chair, with the experience, it's a great committee. But had I not been put on that committee, I would never have really realized that I do enjoy it, and I kind of feel like I do a good job. My point is, not everybody gets what they want.
Right.
And at some point, some of you gotta take one for the team.
So the only, yeah,
I'm willing to stay on
That's-
admin. I don't really want to because of the workload, but again, I'm willing to take one for the team to get it done. If there's anybody else that would be willing to take one for the team, as many of us have done over the last few cycles, that would be great. But I just want to put it out there that not everybody gets to be where they all, on every committee that they want to be on.
and in this particular event though, Donna Muller, Hendricks, Kunkel, Collins, Greeno, and Altoff can't take one for the team because we're already there.
Right.
So anybody else is welcome to take one for the team.
Right?
I'll take one for the team if everybody's happy with 4 committees.
That's what retirement does for you.
See, I
Just take on
definitely
more work.
cannot do 4.
I just don't want
so I'm happy with
to,
my 3.
I really enjoy transportation. I think I have something to offer because of the RTA aspect there. I enjoy legal because I've done a lot of kind of the lobbying efforts in that, and I think that's a good place for me, and I understand municipalities as well and how we work together. I really enjoy financing. My degrees are not finance, but they're economics, and I really believe that it's a good fit. I love looking at the totality, and I'm willing to take on another committee if I don't want to put Tracy in the position of having to add because she is the chair of a committee, and that is a lot of work.
It is.
A lot of work,
Well,
so.
and she's also chair of the Community Development Housing Grant
Correct.
programs that.
And service.
And I'm co-chair from PED by rule, and that just,
Takes a lot of
it
time.
takes a lot of time.
So I'm willing, if the group is okay with an individual being on 4 committees.
Well, here's another thought. You could take Sullivan over from Valley High over to admin services. Takes Tracy out of it. And if the third, the Valley High isn't going to require as much this time, if the Valley High would work better for Tracy. Eric's already there, right?
No,
Eric's
Eric's
all-
services. Eric's got 2 committees right
So
now.
then Eric could go back to the Valley High. No, he doesn't want it, but.
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
So I
want the Valley
wouldn't
Eric doesn't want
force you
Valley High
to do
and
that.
Sullivan wanted Valley High. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Making 2 people unhappy instead of just one.
Again, Sullivan didn't want Valley High, but of course it's a moot point at this point. Everything works except Tracy's end of this.
Does anybody want to take Brian up on his offer of putting him on 4?
If Brian is making that offer, bless you for doing that. And I know you'll do an able job. Let's take him up.
But at some point though, how many then are on only 2 committees and Brian's handling 4?
Well, how many people have 2 committees?
How many people have 2 committees?
People who ask
Not to call it out, Tracy.
How many is that?
I can tell you who it
Is
is.
that 5?
You
Five.
have to have Scala,
There's
there's 12
five.
people.
They're chairs of committees.
They're
That's
chairs,
the
these are
point.
all
So all of the people who have 2 committees are chairs of committees?
Not all.
Not all.
But anyway, that's 5 on 2 committees and 1 poor soul on 4.
2,
But he's very capable, so if he wants to do it.
5.
And he lives in town, it's a close ride.
Yeah, but
So,
Terry, you have to understand that 5 are 2 committees. But the ones that have 2 committees for the most part are chairs of committees. That's a huge thing.
And chair other committees,
Right.
commissions. and different
Commissions and that kind of stuff. So that's big. So I think we have to keep all that in mind. So the 2 that only have 2,
Are already on that committee.
right, are already on that committee. That's exactly right.
Tracy
Yeah,
chairs.
they're all
Pretty big
chairs.
committees.
So I'm fine with that.
okay,
I think Brian's offer is
Very nice.
great. We've always been, knew we're gonna get stuck in this spot when we went from 24 members to 18 members plus adding the Valley High Committee. The numbers weren't gonna work. If Brian's willing to do that, I would be in favor of it.
We had almost as long a conversation during that as we are now. What would, seriously, what would happen? I mean, it was, remember what happened to the committees on committees, yeah, so, hour and a half.
But at some point, I would be willing to open the discussion about whether Valley High is a needed committee anymore.
Yes.
Once the building is filled
Yeah,
out.
but that's next July.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
gonna
that's-
be,
yeah.
I think that's a discussion you have next July. I don't think you cannot fill it today. You gotta,
I agree. It's gotta be filled today. I just wanted to get the conversation started today.
And I'll put an argument there is that memory care unit still needs oversight because it's opening up and it's gonna have bumps.
And the administrator
Well, we're gonna fill it
appreciates
today. I did
having
that.
that committee. That's a big consideration too.
See-
Anything we can do to support that.
I would ask if that was offered, we're having conversation, you're the chair, is that acceptable to
That's
you
fine
and
with me.
everyone?
I don't
that
have any
Brian
problem.
has 4
Look.
committees? I don't have a problem with it either,
I have no issue.
so that would be the end.
The end.
Now, if somebody else wants to do it.
well, may I ask then?
Eric has his,
Got some questions.
Wait, let me.
Oh, go ahead,
Eric, you had your,
Paul just offered to swap me onto finance and him take my, or he takes my place on admin. I don't know if you guys are open to that.
That works too. That works.
No, Von Bergen's place.
So Paul and Von Bergen and
Okay, so
And
Paul
Hendrick's
go to
in-
admin.
Thomas. That works.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Okay.
Paul takes Von Bergen.
could you use last names, please?
I'm
Thomas.
sorry. Thomas takes Von Bergen, shifts off of finance, and Hendricks, who's floating out there a man on his own, goes in for Thomas on finance. That works. It's clean.
yeah, except for it doesn't work for another reason.
It's one short on Ed.
So one of the troubles we've had with finance, and the reason that Eric was picked to not be the person to go on finance, is that when it comes out of finance, you want a budget. And you want a finance committee that supported a budget. And candidly, and Eric and I had this conversation, Eric's not gonna vote for a budget that comes out next year. He's just not gonna do it, just as he didn't this year.
So then
And I don't
one
think that we
dissenter?
should jeopardize the rest of the board and be in that
You're
situation.
saying that we would not have discourse and
Oh, you can
debate
have
in the
plenty of
finance
discourse.
committee?
But when finance committee's
come
got
out?
one job a year, and that's to get a budget out. And the budget's gotta get through this board.
Hasn't done it the last 2 years.
I know,
unanimously.
and
So-
candidly, that would be the argument for taking you off yourself. Because you're not gonna.
Wow,
That's the
wow,
issue.
you guys are
You're
really
just
getting out there
stating
now.
publicly
That is not what I ran for office to do.
No,
that
but
we are
here's,
representing constituents.
If that's the case, throw all the people off
Oh
and
my
just leave
gosh.
chairs to just pass the consent down to the board.
I mean, that's why,
Wait.
that's why I'm not vice chair, because I didn't vote for the budget.
no, so
On
you
this
can
where I
have
requested
discussion
it.
within the
You're-
committee,
you're
but when we
talking
come
about-
out there with a budget, we should be in accord. We shouldn't be, I mean, especially the people on finance.
And what-
They
Do
are
you know
reading that
unequivocally
budget.
that we can't be with Eric? Do you know unequivocally that we
Why do we
can't
run
be?
for election? Why do we debate and
I'm
have people
saying,
vote?
whatever committee
Different
you're on,
perspectives.
do
Joe, that's
the work
kinda
in
out
the
there.
committee.
Okay.
Do the work in
This
the
can't be.
committee and
It's no
support.
reason
No,
to.
You wanna
this
be
is
on-
not who we are. This is not
Yeah,
who we are.
that's not right to say
No,
that.
we still live in McHenry County. We
Still
are.
live in McHenry County.
If we do what Matt suggested, that leaves us one short in the admin services.
No,
because
no,
we're
no.
Taking,
Paul Thomas is
Paul Thomas
taking
place
Ron
of
Burns,
Hendricks.
right, and then Hendricks was moving to finance.
correct?
No, then he'll have three.
And then you
who's-
still have Hendrick's position open.
Yeah,
No, he'll have three.
He's moving from Valley High to finance,
Oh, I see.
not from
Not from-
admin
I
to
got it.
finance.
There you go.
Now Eric will have three like everyone else.
okay, I missed that part.
Scott will
And
have-
yes,
I mean,
he's
take
moving
it
from
from
Valley
there.
High there. It's very clean, that all works, except for a little bit of
But I mean,
discourse in the wrong direction, I think.
Respectfully, I mean, this is the one thing that I wanted. I discussed it with Mike, and we could have had this discussion prior. But I have served on dozens of boards for 30 years. I've run committees, I've MBA in finance and accounting, I've run a business for 30 years. And I just think it's good to, and the thing is that one of the things I'm really excited about in the Finance Committee this year is working on the budget from the beginning so that we collaborate, that we communicate well, and really look at what's going on so that the board, everybody on the committee, everybody on the board understands as things come out of committee what the impact is on the budget, and that we are of our own free will voting to increase the levy every month that we pass things and understanding what the implication is. That way, no one can come up at the end of the year and say, no, too much, drop, we don't want to levy, and just out of the blue again, and really work on this. And I committed to that in the budget meeting this year. I mean that. I worked very well with the administration on this and have had very,
And if I may,
yes.
I absolutely agree with everything you just said. Because, and that's why you're here. Because you did do that this year. And you came out and did that. I will tell you, as a former chairman of the county board, I wanted finance very dearly to come out with a unified front.
I think we will.
and-
We'll work
and I
together the
don't-
entire year.
I don't see that happening with that change.
I would be committed to it. I mean, I wouldn't, I would think that.
In no
going
way
into
anyone here can
August-
judge anyone else at this point, there's no way.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would
we're
We
just
can't be
expect,
doing that.
very
I would just
premature.
expect then, if that's your intent, one of the things that's extraordinarily important is I want people to show up and I want them to be prepared and I want that conversation to go forward. I would just make the statement in a broad general sense that I anticipate that that would happen. In finance, it's crucial that you come prepared, that you've done your homework, that you can participate, and that you show up. That's all, not indicating anybody hasn't, just for the record, finance is a big deal.
I agree with you on that.
And
Finance is
it
big
takes a
deal,
long
and you
time,
have
it's
to
a
be prepared.
huge commitment, just,
Well, this stands with, as we just wrote it here, all the committees are intact, just like that.
With Brian and Ed Services.
No, I'm talking about Thomas in admin services.
Switching, yeah.
In
I heard the
finance.
conversation, I didn't
Because
write it
Hendricks
down.
only
And
has
then
two.
Mr. Sauger does not have to take 4 committees on
And he
himself.
doesn't have to vice
doesn't
chair
care.
too. I'm wanted and I'm willing. I mean, he's very capable. I mean, there's no question.
Yep.
Goodness. And
Paul is truly, if Paul is truly willing and interested in moving into administrative services, I think that's great. I appreciate that. Paul? is that
No
something-
problem. Then I am interested, so.
Willing to do that?
Yep.
So that's an elegant solution.
Okay, so,
Immensely.
and then, so Bunbury gets to come off, right?
They're all happy.
Okay, good, okay. So Thomas goes on, admin? And so are we done now with administrative services?
I'm trying to make a master list right now.
Okay, I don't mean to rush you.
Yeah, there's the board
I will in a
behind
second,
you.
but I gotta write it here first so that I can translate.
She's on the screen. Taking notes on the screen.
Go and change. Oh, right. Joel did that.
Kathy, can you change? the-
Recording
He doesn't get, he doesn't get, he can go up there and do that.
That's it right there.
We need Mr. Hartman.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, he loves to do that, he's good at it.
Yeah, we want to.
Yeah.
That's true. Today?
It should be. Discussion still.
Good discussion.
Okay. Did I get it right?
Larry, you're closest. I can't see that far.
Can we call that one close?
Okay, so administrative services, as we have this, in place of Von Bergen on your sheet would be Thomas.
Okay,
Finance, in place of Thomas would be Hendricks.
okay.
Law and government, planning development, public health and human services, they're the same as they're on the sheet. On transportation, in place of Krieger would be Scala. And on Valley High, in place of Hendricks would be Krieger.
Excellent.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah, I want a cookie.
Okay, I do have to, I've been.
Do we have to move to accept this the way it is now?
Well,
No, he's got to back up on the
I gotta
agenda.
back up, because we got ahead of our agenda. Can we approve the minutes from 2022?
I make a motion.
Motion
Shorten
by
already,
Terry,
motion,
second by
you
Mike
second.
Shorten. All those in favor of the minutes from 2022, I'm sure you studied them diligently.
Aye.
Okay.
I read them.
Um,
It's interesting.
I noticed there is no one here from the public, so I will make a point of record that we've not had any public comment.
Mr. Chairman,
And-
on that point of approving these minutes from 2 years ago, Kathy and I talked about that odd scenario. We're gonna take these minutes and move them to the county board.
And that's fine, because it's
Yeah,
silly
so-
to do
so they're
this
not- so they happen
2 years later.
Yes.
I can't remember yesterday.
And not the same people.
I understand that, that's when they, I mean, you can send it in draft form, but.
That's fine. Let's move.
Okay, so now, can I have a motion to approve it as it's on that board and with the changes I just read?
Well, I really would like to discuss the vice chair of finance a little bit more, because it's something that is now the time.
I
Before we make a
think,
motion to approve it as it is, yes.
Okay.
I think that is appropriate time to do it if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I have been supportive of you. I commit to collaborating with this committee and having a smooth year. I don't want any fourth quarter surprises. I want us to be informed and, again, work together, communicate, and I'm committed to it. I want to hear all the voices, you know, I mean, I'm not running the committee by any means, but should I be in that situation, I do have the skill set to do it, I do have the experience to do it. I'm not Member Sager, there's no question about it. He does have 2 vice chairs, and I had asked for it. It's really important to me. Would you give me grace?
Well, it's not personal.
No, I know, and I don't take
appropriate to
it
make
personally.
personal, against me. I mean, this was my decision, and I would hope that it would be respected, and I think that I've weighed all the options, and Mr. Saga would be my choice.
And if there's an opposition to him having
No, I-
2 chairmanships, what about transportation? Do
And-
you be vice chair of transportation? We could easily put
Mr.
Mr. Hartwell in
RTA,
that
I
place.
think it's a great fit, but it was.
Yeah, I think you're a great vice chair of transportation
Well, and,
because of your knowledge.
well,
I think the chairman of the board has spoken his piece, and
That's
I
right.
support him.
yeah, and Brian, I do absolutely respect you.
I understand, and I appreciate that.
And I also apologize for you even being in this situation, so.
No apology necessary. This is time to talk about it. So, thank you.
That's right.
So it's now appropriate
Go ahead.
To do.
to make a motion to approve the committee on committees as presented, or not as
Oh,
presented,
as presented,
as
as
was
on that
done on
board.
the board.
I second.
Okay. Any other discussion?
We do match what we all talked about now.
Okay, I
Okay.
double check it, because they're gonna take a picture of this.
Okay.
Okay, so please double check it. I mean,
You want to
do
read
it
each one
myself.
off?
Okay, I'll start at the law and government.
Nicely done.
All, law and government has Altoff, Shorten, Campbell, Sauger, Kunkel, Sullivan, and Van Hoff. Is that consistent with what's on your
Yeah.
paper?
Yes.
Okay. Transportation Committee, that's Kearns, Sauger, Kaminsky, Von Bergen, Thomas, Kunkel, and Scala. Yes, still? Okay. Public Health, Von Bergen, Altoff, Shorten, Sullivan, Van Hoff, Krieger, Hendricks.
Yes.
Planning and Environment Development, Smith, Campbell, Gottemoller, Kaminsky, Kearns, Thomas, and Krieger.
Yes.
Valley High, Shorten, Kaminsky, Krieger, Reno, Collins, Sullivan, Van Hoff. Administrative Services, Gottemoller, Hendricks, Altoff, Kunkel, Reno, Collins, and Thomas. Finance and Audit, Scala, Sauger, Smith, Greeno, Hendricks, Collins, Campbell. Is that,
You say Campbell.
I did say Campbell, yes.
That is my motion.
Yep, I see a second.
Okay, and it's been seconded. Any other discussion? Roll call. Shorten.
Yes.
Yes.
Sauger.
Yes.
Altoff.
Yes.
Kunkel. Kearns.
Yes, I thought you were gonna call me last. I was being a little stained. I was being to a stain so you could vote.
You want me to?
Yeah, I would be.
Yes.
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 Campbell. Smith.
Yes. Wait for my name. I didn't hear
All
it.
right, sorry.
He was just pointing.
We have no other old business. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.